So you get to Georgia.
Yeah.
You're all American. You're just, you're just knocking it out.
No, that's the crazy thing about my story, because at every level it was a climb. It was like I got to Georgia and I had to start completely over. So I remember walking, and this is what hits a lot of people too, because they have that success, they get that promotion, and they get in a new environment.
That's
and it's
good.
Like, boom.
Yeah.
Now you got to re-humble yourself.
Right.
A lot of times. So for me, it was walking into University of Georgia locker room and seeing Noshawn Marino and seeing Matthew Stafford and seeing all these guys, man, who were 5-star athletes, who were number one in their class coming out. And it's like, dang, like it's no point in me even mentioning my accomplishments. And then I'm third string, and I didn't get redshirted, but I'm not on the field. I'm scout team.
So how did you deal with that? I mean, mentally.
I'm not gonna lie. It was hard, man, at first, and this crushes so many athletes, especially the ones who come out of a situation where they've always gotten the pat on the back, they've been a star athlete, and now they're getting an environment and they see that competition and it's real. And a lot of times they're not even better than those guys, So it's like, what are you gonna do? And a lot of guys can't handle it, so they end up transferring, or they just get down in the dumps and get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, man. Like, I basically was like, F it. I'm just, if I never play it down at University of Georgia, I'm going to make sure I go so hard that I have no regrets. And that's the point that I got to, where I stopped worrying about the numbers. I stopped worrying about, the acknowledgement and the validation from the outside. And I was just like, man, I'm just become the best Rennie Curran that I can be. Yeah. And I don't know when. And a lot of it was just faith, because I was just like, man, if my coach doesn't, see my effort, if nobody else sees it, if nobody else pays attention to me, or if I never become a starter, I know God sees my effort. That's all I need. And so once I made that decision, man, I got in the film room by myself. I got in the weight room by myself. Like, after everybody would leave, I'll stay there till 8, 9 o'clock at night. On the practice field, I would be 10 yards behind the starters, just like being their shadow, mimicking their moves, getting the mental reps, doing every single thing I could. And I still didn't move up. And then it was like 8, 9 games into the season is when that breakthrough happened. So it was like the moment I least expected it. And we're going against Tennessee. I remember like it was yesterday, man. The guy ahead of me, he blew a play, and we were already down by 3 touchdowns. And finally got that call from my coach. He was up in the skybox, and, he was just like, man, you're in. And I was like, Tennessee Stadium, like 90,000. Yeah. They hold like 110,000.
It's huge.
I'm 18 years old, and I run out on the field, and I look across the sidelines. It's Arian Foster, and most people know Arian Foster is like amazing running back. Yeah. But they handle the ball, tackle him in the backfield, and the rest was history, man. But that's how it was my whole entire career. I was never the guy that kind of just got that handout.
So what was your like daily routine? Because I get looking back, and it's like, you were grinding and you were doing all the right things. But, but still, when you wake up Monday morning, right. You didn't play that weekend. You're still grinding it out. All the guys with, I don't know if you call it natural talent, but they're the size and the weight and all that, and they're just starting. They're not in the film room. Right. They're not in the weight room hitting the extra. How did you break through that void?
It was really a mindset. Like I coined the phrase operating at the level of your vision. So I thought about, man, if I want to be the starter, if I want to be eventually all SEC, if I want to be that name that's up on the board in our film room, they had all the greats lined up. Yeah. Ben Zambiese, Knox Culpepper, Thomas Davis, like all these names listed. And so I'll just look at the pictures, look at their names, and I would watch the film, and I was like, all right, this is how I need to operate, man. If I want to eventually be Rennie Curran, if I want to be that All-SEC, that Buckets Award, this is what time I need to be waking up. This is what time I need to get here. And I just made that my standard before I was ever started, before I was ever there. And I just believed that, like, eventually, man, I didn't care how much time it took that. Only time separated me from this becoming my reality. And so that was kind of my routine, was waking up, kind of doing those extra things, getting the extra reps in. After practice, I'm getting the extra sprints in. I'm meeting with my coach, like, Coach, what do I need to do to get better? What am I not doing? I would be up in his face, man, like, till you get annoyed. My linebackers coach, John Jancic, Coach Rick, same thing. I'm like, Coach, I want to do more. So just having that hunger and trying to find ways to really stretch myself, man, and not being settled.